So, hello, welcome. If it's your first time here, welcome back. If you have joined a webinar with us before, my name is Sarah and I'm in marketing here at CaminoWays, and I'm joined by Jeremy, who is in sales, and he'll say hi to you now in a second. Okay.
Sorry, just had to unmute myself. Hi, everyone. Yep, I'm Jeremy. I've been with CaminoWays quite a while now. So, yep, welcome to our presentation for tonight. Thank you, Sarah, for putting it together. We're going to talk about as guided or self-guided tours, which is right for you. So we'll run through a little bit about what we do and then kind of get into the main subject. And you can pop in questions on text. We'll go through them either during the presentation or afterwards. So just keep it flowing, just pop them in on text, not on voice. So, yep, want to start off?
Perfect. All right. So we're gonna, as Jeremy said, we're gonna take you through a bit about what we do, and then we'll look at some self-guided tours and guided tours, and then maybe you might be able to come to a conclusion about which is better for you. So I'm gonna let Jeremy, the expert, take you through what exactly it is we do here at CaminoWays.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. So, yeah. So on the Camino de Santiago and also on the Via Francigena in Italy, we offer walking and cycling tours. And essentially what we offer on them, what you need is the accommodation. So we have hotels from kind of our standard up to 3-star country cottages, which are like boutique style accommodations, which there's not a lot of along the trail. And also we can upgrade you to 4 or 5-star accommodation as well, if and where they are available. What people really like us for is the luggage transfer. So while you're walking, we'll pick up your bag from the hotel, so you can spend the day walking with just your day pack. And when you get to your next hotel, your luggage will be waiting for you there in the lobby. And of course, you may need some assistance while you're en route. So we have a 24-hour assistance phone, which is there to help you if you have any issues with, let's say, the luggage transfer or your airport transfer, or if there's an issue with your hotel booking. So that's very helpful while you're on tour. And we work with individuals and groups. What does that mean? Well, individuals essentially is people anywhere from kind of 1 to 10 in a group who wish to walk any section of the Camino, or even the whole Camino route, which there's many of. And groups, they're a bit more specific, and we can tailor as well for groups. That's kind of anyone from 10 plus who may wish and want a guide, and or they're doing something specific and then they may need some tailoring. But yeah, we work with groups as well.
Okay. And obviously the Camino de Santiago isn't just one trail. There are quite a lot of trails. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the different routes on the Camino de Santiago?
Yeah, so I mean, it's as I'm sure you all know, it's a pilgrim route. So it started off way back in kind of 900 BC, around that time. So Santiago de Compostela is in the western seaboard of northern Spain. It is where it is said that Saint James the Apostle is buried. So he's in the crypt in the cathedral there, because he spent a lot of his time spreading Christianity throughout that part of Europe after Jesus was crucified. And people started making pilgrimages there. So when they were able to go see him and touch his tomb, they resolved of all their sins. So it became very popular, of course, especially from all the murdering and pillaging that was going on in those days, to hop along to Santiago and absolve yourself of all your sins. And from that, a lot of routes were generated. And what you see here is the main routes. So we have the Francais in big yellow writing. And if you look just above that, you see Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which is just on the French side of the Pyrenees, hence it's called the French Way. You walk one day across the Pyrenees into Roncesvalles, and then another 35, 40 odd days will take you into Santiago de Compostela. Of course, all these routes are broken down into sections, so you can walk them 5, 6, 7 days. You usually start in the main town or city, and so that works very well as well. So popping quickly to the left of the screen, there's the Portuguese way. That's coming up from Lisbon all the way to Santiago de Compostela. From Lisbon to Porto is quite challenging. It's not very well walked. So most people will walk from Porto to Santiago. From Porto to Santiago is mostly coastal now, so we use the coastal route, and that's from Porto up to Bayona, which is just on the Spanish border, and then really Vigo to Santiago is the last 100 kilometers into Santiago de Compostela. Then we have the Northern Way, which is on the north coast of Spain. starting in San Sebastian, going through excellent cities like Bilbao, Santander, Oviedo, and that cuts along the northern coast, really stunning because you have the coast, the Bay of Biscay on your right, and you have the mountains on your left as you're walking. So it's really, really beautiful. And then you cut inland down to Santiago de Compostela. There's also a cut off on the Primitivo route, which is really the original way. And that goes through Lugo, finishing in Santiago de Compostela as well. And then what I call the lazy way, which is the English way, or Camino Inglés, starting in Ferrol and walking down to Santiago de Compostela, just over 100 kilometers. The reason being is that people used to get a boat from England and from Ireland and stop in Coruña or Ferrol and then just walk that short distance down to Santiago de Compostela. So it's quite all those routes, specifically the last 100 kilometers. On the French way, you have Sarria to Santiago. On the Portuguese way, you have Vigo to Santiago, and then the Primitivo Northern way, Lugo to Santiago, and then Ferrol to Santiago. They're all the most popular ones, but there's plenty to offer and see and do on all the other routes.
Great. Thanks very much, Jeremy. And so these are the routes that you have, and then you can choose to walk them self-guided or guided. Now, the self-guided tours, it's if you want to go alone or maybe with a friend or two, you can completely explore at your own pace and you can completely customize it to your own needs, from everything from accommodation, meals, luggage transfers, airport transfers. These self-guided tours are also available on all of our routes as well. And something I'm sure if you've been on our website, maybe you haven't yet, but on CaminoWays.com, we have a Camino planner. So you can actually go and you can customize and play around with it and see what part of a route would suit you best. So maybe it's Sarria to Santiago, maybe you want to do Pamplona, Logroño, whichever section that you want to do yourself. It doesn't have to be the beginning or the end. And then you can actually also talk to the team as well if you just want to iron it out and plan it yourself. But the planner is a really good way to sort of get an idea for what you want, especially if you are looking at a self-guided tour. Jeremy, if you want to add anything about self-guided tours there.
Yeah, that's excellent, Sarah. I mean, our website, we love it. Our customers love it. You can go in, you can pick your start point, pick your finish point, as many stages as you want or as little as you want. You can add in days if you feel a day is too long, where feasible. You can pick cycling or walking. So, I mean, it really is what most of our clients will do. So you can really pick your own dates, pick your own start location, pick your own end location, add in the dinners, take off the dinners, add in the luggage transfer, take off the luggage transfer. You can add in airport transfers as well if you need them. So it's, it's really flexible and designed to help you complete your Camino as comfortably as you wish. So yeah, but have a go at our planner. If you're having trouble with it, you can always contact us at info@CaminoWays.com. Just tell us your needs and we create it for you and send you the itinerary via email. So it all works very smoothly.
Yeah, perfect. So then moving on to the guided tours. So perhaps, especially maybe if it's your first Camino or if you're really into traveling with a group, you can experience the Camino with a group of like-minded individuals. So you can go along yourself, you can meet a group of strangers and walk with them. You can walk at your own pace. You'll all meet at the end of the start and the end of the day. You will have a local guide with you. So this guide is really great because they just provide you with some cultural and historical knowledge you might not be aware of if you're passing a random church or a building. You might just walk by it, but with the guide, you'll get some nice insights into that as well. And you have airport transfers included with the guided tours as well. And we'll take you through a few of our guided tours now in a minute that we have available for this year, unless Jeremy has anything else he would like to add here for our guided tours.
I mean, Sarah, yeah, I mean, absolutely. You said it all. But it's not a but guided tours. I mean, they are set departures. They're set departure days. They are set locations. You are joining a group of people, which can be fantastic. Our groups of people are generally from the English-speaking world, so Irish, English, American, Canadian, Australian. But I have to say, mostly kind of Irish and American in the main. So it's a lot of fun, like-minded people. You're not tied to the group. You can walk at your own pace, which we encourage. You will see the guide a lot during the day because he kind of moves up and down the line, as we call it. And he's there to look after you on a logistical level, but also, yes, he'll brief you in the morning and in the evening as well, about what's happened the day before and what's going to happen on the next day. And they're very, very highly knowledgeable of the local area. And they're great. Generally, we have about 20 people, up to 20 people on each tour. It's usually somewhere between 16 and 18. So they're nice, intimate groups. You will all eat together each evening. So all dinners are included, breakfasts are included, luggage transfers are included. The only thing is not included is lunch, because there's so many lovely places to stop on the way. And about €10 a day will get you a very, very nice lunch, and plenty of time to have it.
Right. Yeah, one of the great things of the guided tour is that depending on the person, I'm not personally a fan of eating alone in a restaurant. So it's great to have other people with you to share the experience and the pros and cons. So some of our 2023, all of them are available on our website. They're all live now. Some of them book up depending the more popular times of the year. So if you have a date in mind that you really want to go, I would definitely claim it before it books out. But the first one is the Camino Frances last 100 kilometers. So all of our guided tours are focused on the last 100 kilometers. That is, if you want to get your Compostela. So it takes you through that journey. We have the most dates available for the Camino Frances because it is our most popular route. If you've read any book about the Camino or watched any movie from the way to any other one, it's usually set along the Camino Frances. So our dates, April, May, and June. We do have dates later in the year. I'm just highlighting the first half of the year in case you're planning a little pre-summer getaway. But the Camino Frances, Sarria to Santiago is your guided tour for that. The next one we have is the Camino Portuguese, the last 100 kilometers from Vigo. So this one is, especially if you've already done the Camino Frances either by yourself or with a group, this is a great alternative. And like Jeremy said, this is primarily, it's coastal, so it's great, especially as you approach the summer and the hotter weather, especially if you're not used to the heat, like we wouldn't be here in Ireland. So we have a few dates, not as many, but we have dates in May and June, and again in the later half of the year as well. Both of those are very popular. Maybe Jeremy wants to take us through one of our Via Francigena, the last 100 kilometers. So obviously this is the route in Italy.
Yeah, so the Via Francigena is exactly that's the route in Italy. It's essentially the Camino to Rome. It starts in Canterbury in the UK, works its way across France, over the Alps through the St. Bernard's Pass, and then down through Italy. We don't do the whole route because it's extremely long and quite difficult. But we do the route through Tuscany and then on to Rome, which is stunning. Our guided tour specifically is from Lucca to Siena, which is through most of Tuscany, obviously finishing in Siena. Really, what is one of the kind of top destinations on the planet. And we also have one that will go into Rome as well. I think we have one date on that. Thank you for correcting me there, Sarah. A little nod. But again, on the guided tours, you arrive at the first hotel. We don't do airport transfers in this one, and we look after you with dinners, luggage transfers, breakfast, hotels, everything. Guide is included. Airport transfers are not included in this because there's so many different airports and times people can arrive in on. Great tip if you're looking to transfer in any country in the world is Rome to Rio. Just type in your RomeToRio.com, just type in your start point and end point. Is going to give you all the options. It's a really fantastic little website. All these routes can be walked as well as self-guided. So you can ring us up and say, listen, I don't want to do a guided tour, I want to do it self-guided, and this is my start date, this is my start location, end location, or you can obviously do it on our route planner as well. Via Francigena is really popular from March up to June. It gets a little bit hot in that part of Italy, kind of August time. And then September, October is a fantastic time to walk it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And as Jeremy said, so the last 100 kilometers is from Viterbo to Rome. That one, we just have one date, May 20th. So if that doesn't suit you, obviously you can do it self-guided. And the Tuscany one from Lucca to Siena, we just have May 6th in the first half of the year too. So again, if that date doesn't suit you, there are alternatives. And our last one is the Camino Finisterre from Santiago to Murcia. That is sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
Sorry, well, yeah, I mean, the traditional end of the Camino is Finisterre, where people walk from Santiago. So they keep walking when they get to Santiago and go to Finisterre and then to Murcia. Finisterre translated being Land's End is where a lot of, I suppose, from ancient times, people went to see the setting of the sun in the west. So it's seen as really Land's End, the end of the earth, and a very significant place in Spain and in Europe. And then people get there as a stunning coastal area. So really, really rural, lovely walk, fantastic scenery. and it gets more rural as you get towards the coastline. Great tour to do. Little bit odd starting in Santiago, but if you've been to Santiago before, this is a great option. It's a really, really good option to do. Stunning up to Muxi, which is a stunning little fishing village just outside, just along the coast on the north there. And again, the coastline is your western seaboard on the Atlantic Ocean, so it's quite rugged, quite stunning, very dramatic, and great weather as well coming in over the ocean that far south.
Yeah, perfect. So I suppose the main question is self-guided or guided, which one is for you? There is no, I suppose, clean-cut answer of which is the better option. It's completely down to your own preference. If you'd prefer to go things at your own pace, take your own breaks, pick your own days, and even just go yourself or just with one or two people that you know, self-guided is probably your perfect option. But if you want to join with a group of people who have the same sort of passion and desire to walk the Camino, and then you have a bit more of that social aspect and maybe a bit less planning and a bit less flexibility, which sometimes works for people as well, then a guided might be a better option for you, especially maybe if it's your first Camino too. Yeah, Jeremy, anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, the guided can be really good fun because you're meeting like-minded people and people from all over the world, and people gel together very quickly. And in my experience, you know, they always love it at the end, and long life friends are made on these tours, and they've even come back and done other tours with us as well. So they work very well on the guided tours. As Sarah said, the dates are all on our website. Just have a look, pick, and send us a request. They do book up quite quickly, so I would urge people, if you're looking at guided, to have a look now and get going now in it. And then self-guided, obviously, any location, anytime. You know, it's really up to you when and where you want to go, and we'll put it together for you. So yeah, it just gives you as people are going to experience the Camino, gives you the option of how you want to do it. Essentially, if any questions, pop them into the chat box there and we can answer them.
Yeah, any questions about guided, self-guided, or if you have any questions about the Camino in general, feel free to, now is your moment, feel free to ask away. Oh, you can also unmute yourself too. If you don't fancy writing it into the chat box, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so are the guided tours only the last 100 kilometers, or can you do a longer guided trip?
I'll take that one. Essentially, they're generally over 6 walking days, 7 nights, and you know that we pick them on the popular routes, which generally, so Sarria to Santiago on the French way, Vigo to Santiago on the Portuguese way, and then we have Santiago to Finisterre, moving out onto the traditional end, and then we have the routes in Via Francigena as well. The reason we don't have guided tours that go longer or in other locations is they just won't fill up, to be honest with you. Now, if we do get demand for that, we will put them on, but at the moment we don't.
Mm-hmm. Great. We have a few coming in the chat box, Jeremy. I might quick fire them your way. So Robert is asking, can you hire a guide for your own group? So I imagine making a group yourself and then.
Yeah, if you have a group of people you wish to bring and you want to bring a guide, absolutely, we can do that. We advise from 10 people. It becomes kind of, you spread the cost out. Then if you're spreading the cost out amongst less than 10, it becomes quite a bit expensive, because you pay for the guide, obviously, and you pay for their accommodation and food and everything. But from 10 people, yeah, it's really easy to put a group together for you. Just send me an email at CaminoWays.com, send it to Jeremy with what you are looking for, and I can get back to you with a proposal. So yeah, no problem at all, Robert. So Rich, is September, October better weather to do the Primitivo? I mean, essentially all those areas within Santiago, the weather acts the same way. September is a great time to go because you're getting the latent heat of the summer. It gets a little bit dodgy going into October, but not as much the last few years with climate change and everything. The season has got a bit longer, so October is as good as September now. Maybe trying to get in before mid-October, somewhere anywhere in September, mid-October, you're going to get good weather. May get a day or two of rain, but you shouldn't really. So Karen, do you recommend walking sticks? I do, if you're used to using them. Absolutely, they'll give you a bit of 4-wheel drive. But if you haven't used them before, please try and use them as much as possible before you go, because it does it does give you a different walking gait, and it's also quite strenuous on your upper body. So try and use them before you go get used to them. So KT, I'm on a self-guided walk with a friend in Northern Route. Excellent, very good. If you need anything, let us know, and the best of luck with that. And Sarah's put up my email address there, so that's great. Please reinstate the Rome to Rio. Sorry, Rome to Rio. So yeah, so I think Sarah's popped that in there now. So it's excellent. Just put in your start location, end location. It's going to give you all the public transport options, and it's really good, and it's correct, which is the main thing. So from KT again, if we see a guided tour group from CW on our route, can we stop this to talk to them or join the group from here? Listen, absolutely. If you come up and chat, that's a question I've never had before, actually, which is after 15 years of doing this, it's good to get questions I've never been asked. I would say it's absolutely no problem. And just go up and have a chat. The Camino is very sociable, and even with self-guided, you'll always meet people en route. You'll always end up having dinner with people. It's no problem to do that, I would say, because if you're eating in the same hotel, I mean, you're all in the same meal tip anyway. And Sarah's also
butterflies, that is.
yeah, Sarah's also popped up a little blog we have about walking poles. So for the person who asked that, that's a great little thing to read. But I do say very much make sure you practice before you go.
Do we have any more questions? Don't be shy, ask away if you have one.
Hi guys, I was just wondering, do many people do sort of self-guided and a tour, like maybe start off with the tour and then continue on a self-guided itinerary?
Yeah, I mean, interesting question. And we have had some people who would, let's say, walk the 100 kilometers prior to the 100 kilometers of the guided tour. You just have to get your dates right. So you could walk, let's say, from Pomfrada to Sarria, I think, off the top of my head, about a week, and then you walk into Sarria the night of when the guided tour is booking into the hotel, and then you just join that guided tour, and then you carry on with them. Yeah,
okay, great, thanks.
Just have to get the dates right, which is the important thing. But again, just tell us what you want to do and we can set it up for you. Not a problem.
Could I just ask as well, on the self-guided ones, what information do you provide?
So yes, now with modern technology, all our information is online. It's so when you book a tour with us, when we start the reservation process, once your tour is booked with a deposit or full payment, and then we go into the process of contacting all the services required to get you through the tour, and that builds over the next few weeks. Now, when the tour is fully paid, or no later than 30 days prior to your arrival, you will get a link which has all the tour information. Now, what does that have? That essentially has all your hotels that you have booked, where they are, the name of the hotel, a geolocation of where that hotel is. It'll have all the information about your luggage transfer, your luggage tags. So all the technical, logistical information will be provided. There's quite a lot. We also have route notes. Now, they're not, walk 10 yards, turn left, walk 10, 20 yards, turn right. We don't do that, but we give a general guide on the route that you're going to take. But the Camino is extremely well signposted. Also, there's lots of people walking, so I always find guides, you spend a lot of time looking at them, but not a lot of time using them. We also have a discount with Cicerone guidebook, so it's an excellent discount of 25%. We have a discount code that if you book with us, you can use that discount and you can buy a very, very good guidebook for that, and that's helpful as well. And then there's local information, and so there's a lot of information within that, a lot of links, and also there's maps as well. So, and it's all online, so you can link the maps onto your phone or whatever device you're using, and then you can map your way through the Camino as well. So there's a lot there, but it is all online now.
Okay, brilliant.
We have another question from Robert. Is there a website for hospitals and medical clinics along the various routes? I would say the European emergency number is 112. So if you do get into a bit of a pickle or an emergency situation over there, it's handy to have that. I think on the EU website, what does have a list of, like, in France, Italy, Spain, of the emergency numbers there as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's again another interesting question. What a great group you are today. And I think possibly maybe Sarah might take a note of that, and we could maybe do something, a blog on our website about where hospitals and clinics and things like that are, because it is something that does pop up.
Yeah, perfect. The one thing I will say though is if we have an assistance number, and if you are en route and you get into a bit of an accident, don't call our assistance number. We won't be able to help you from here. Please always call the emergency services if you need them. Okay. I am dedicated, but I am not a surgeon, and I will not be able to help you if you fall in Spain. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we get the Camino so safe. You know, I'm not saying we've never had instances, we have, but like we've been doing it for a very long time, and thousands upon thousands of people, and it's very rare.
Okay. Any other questions?
I assume that if you do self-guided, that you can always sort of see people ahead and behind, and you never sort of find yourself in the wilderness.
You may find times that you are on your own, but the trail is very well demarked and signposted. It's very rare that you are. But you know what? You invariably will meet groups of people. You end up walking with them for part of the time, and then you'll end up. And then the next day they might be going somewhere else, or might be on a different time scale, and you'll end up with somebody else. It's extremely sociable. It's one of the most sociable routes or experiences I've ever experienced. So it's really good in that level. And again, if you don't wish to be sociable, you don't have to be. So you can just ignore everybody.
But if safety was the reason, you wouldn't choose the self-guided tour. That's
it's very safe, extremely safe, self-guided, very, very, very safe. Yeah, absolutely, no problem at all.
great.
I suppose it is something, whether men, women, or whatever, you are a bit more conscious, but it is because given that families even walk the Camino, and you're not going to be in the middle of nowhere by yourself, which, I do understand that would obviously be a bit of a not situation. And you're also going to be walking in the daylight as well, surrounded by things. So it is safe.
Okay, super. Self-guided.
Okay, I know it's great, and solo travel is so good and has really been coming up lately, and it's definitely something that everyone should try at least once in their life. It's just very liberating, so it's great from my perspective anyway. We have one more question. Do you advise on best flights to take to starting point of the walk you want to do? For instance, from Canada, I fly to where if I want to walk the Portuguese walk. Just on that, on the big international ones, you're likely going to be flying to that country's capital. So for that, it would be Lisbon. But if you're starting from Porto, you can get a connecting flight in Lisbon to Porto, or alternatively, you could go a few days early, have a holiday in Lisbon, and get the train to Porto as well. So it would usually be the country's main airport.
Yeah, I mean, if you are booking with us and you have a specific start point, and you just ask the question, what's the best location flight to fly to start this location, we do advise that you get as close as possible. If you are flying from the States, definitely you will fly to an international hub, being Barcelona, Madrid, or sometimes Paris or Lisbon, and then you get an internal flight, or you could book straight through to Santiago de Compostela, Porto, Bilbao, depending on which one you're doing.
And Jeremy, one question: where can we get information, read the Paradors in Santiago?
Again, if you're booking with us, you can book Superior Collection. If you're booking FIT, we do offer the Paradors only when they are available. Availability in the Parador in Santiago is quite hard to come by, specifically in May and September. If you're booking directly, just Google Parador Santiago de Compostela. It'll give you the online booking. And as the stairs pop up in a little blog, it'll give you an online booking portal, and you can book directly in yourself. So they do operate that way as well. But yes, we do have a Superior Collection, which essentially is the best hotels in each location on the route where they are available, and it is based on the availability that there are beds available in the actual Parador when we make your booking.
Okay. We have time for maybe one or two more questions. Liz is just a follow-up on the flying from Canada. For instance, I fly to Lisbon and my final return to Canada from Santiago. Yeah, you could. Well, I'd say from you, depending, the nearest airport for a Canadian flight might actually be a transfer from Madrid or Barcelona to get onto a Canadian flight, depending on the airports.
So airports like Santiago de Compostela and Porto are not generally transatlantic international hubs. You'd have to get to Madrid or Barcelona or Lisbon or Paris or even Dublin in some cases. So
that's true, actually. I suppose Susan's how do I get transported back to where you started from? So if you're leaving from Porto.
Yeah, so let's say if you're walking from Porto 100 kilometers to Bayona, what you do is, you can walk from Porto to Bayona, and we do offer private transfer. So we will pick you up in a private car vehicle and drive you back to the airport or to the hotel in Porto. So you've only walked in a week 120 odd kilometers. So it's not it's a 45-minute to an hour transfer. So while spend a week walking, it's very quick driving back. So it works well that way.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, we've time for one more question. If anyone has one they want to fire out. Any takers? No? Okay, well, look, this is recorded anyway, and it will be up on our YouTube tomorrow. If you think of any questions you have in the meantime, you can write in on Facebook or leave a comment on the blog or email info@CaminoWays.com, and we'll answer all your questions whenever they pop up. And again, if you want to book a self-guided or a guided, or you just want to talk about them, you can contact us as well and get as much information as you need.
Yep. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Great questions, and look forward to seeing you all on the Camino.
Yeah, very good questions. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.